straightforward thought process that if you go through, it can make things much easier for you to get support for that person. If in doubt, just ring emergency services straight away. Okay, so I'm going to talk a bit about what do you do if somebody comes to you and says they're feeling suicidal. Not something that happens every day maybe, but it happens. Maybe it's just happened to you and that's why you've searched for this video. Okay, so I've been doing crisis support for 10 years and I can tell you there's a fairly straightforward thought process that if you go through, it can make things much easier for you to get support for that person. First thing you want to think is, when they say they're feeling suicidal, are they talking about a vague feeling? Are they talking about unhappiness? Or are they talking about, this is a way I've felt for some time and I've now started to think about ways to do it? Or are they talking about, yeah, actually I've got a plan, I've got the means, it's going to happen in the next half an hour, a couple of hours, and I'm just sort of wanted somebody to talk to before I actually go ahead and do it. So that's the very first thing to work out. Is this someone who needs a bit of a friendly ear? Is this somebody who actually, they've been feeling bad for a while and they've got worse, so you probably need to be proactive about helping them get some support fairly quickly? Or is this somebody for whom you really need to be calling 999, 911, whatever your emergency number is, and getting help straight away? If you can make that your first, pretty much your first mental job when you're listening to someone, that will make the rest of the process much easier in helping them. Opening up to you and telling you this is fantastic. That's the best thing that could possibly be happening right now, because a lot of the time with mental health, it's the not talking to people, the not sharing the difficult feelings, it causes them to get really pent up inside, that leads to a kind of a mental volcano, if you like, at which point stuff isn't containable anymore within you, and that's when impulsive behaviours can happen. So you want to encourage them to talk, and you want to be okay with them talking. So it's very much pick a quiet spot, pick somewhere quiet. If you're somewhere that's not quiet, okay, so if you're somewhere where it's quite noisy or perhaps not private and someone tells you this, hey, this sounds really important what you're saying, let's just go around the corner where it's a bit quieter, where there's not some music playing on a big screen, or perhaps where there's not people walking past and you can talk privately, and let's really hear what you've got to say. So I guess taking it seriously and showing that you're taking them seriously is really important. And then just give them the space, let them talk, you know. If you come to the conclusion in your mind that this is someone who actually, they're going to act pretty soon, then you want to have that information. You don't want to miss that information by talking over them or giving them helpful advice. So if you start to give them your opinions or give them some great suggestions, that might be what they're looking for, but it might not be. And I feel it's better to err on the side of caution and give them the space to talk, because if they're wanting your opinion, they will ask for it. If they don't ask for your opinion, they're probably just wanting someone to listen to them and to understand them. And then finally, the most important thing I think to do is to not freak out. There's a fine line between taking somebody seriously and jumping up out of your chair and saying, we've got to get you to hospital right now, we've got to get you an assessment right now. Fine line. If you're too laid back about it, you could give off the impression that you don't care. But if on the other hand you jump up and start flapping a bit, we've got to get you help. Have you been to hospital? Does your GP know about this? Have you told anyone else? That won't be very helpful either. So what you're looking for is attentive concern, but you're still present, you're still there emotionally, you're still letting them guide the conversation and tell you what's going on. If this is somebody who This is new to them feeling like this. Best thing you can do is just be there. Don't jump up and panic. Just be there, because if you give them that bad first experience, that might put them off telling people again. So really just try and understand, try and put yourself in their position. But once you've made that kind of assessment in your head, this isn't going to happen in the next half an hour. The most important thing you can do is be there. What about number 2, in the middle? So this is someone who's felt this way for a while. Things are getting worse, they're starting to plan. This might be the time to get somebody some proper, what we call in the UK, secondary mental health care. So not something that's accessible through your GP, but where you have to be referred by your GP or through another part of the NHS like A&E. NHS crisis teams in the UK manage access to the acute beds in hospital. If it feels like somebody's going in that direction, you could Google the number for your local crisis team. So you've given them some space, you've gone somewhere quiet, they've talked, and you come to the conclusion after maybe 5 or 10 minutes of listening that, do you know what, this isn't just them feeling a bit down today. This isn't even someone who's been feeling down for a while and thinks, do you know what, enough's enough, I need to do something about it. This is someone who's been feeling down for a while and has given a fair amount of thought and planning into how they're going to do this. And they're now at that point where today's the day. What do you do? Well, you need to call emergency services and you need to communicate. This is someone you know or someone you just know. They've been feeling this way for a while. They've actually started to make plans, and I'm very, very worried that they're going to do something in the next half an hour, something like that. So that's probably all you need to do for now. You've got a bit of a framework on what to listen out for and how to prioritise your actions as well. So the best thing you can do is be there. Thanks.